You would agree with me this evening that crime is indeed a billion-dollar industry. Not only does it put a fortune in the pockets and in the hands of criminals, but it's also a very heavy weight on the resources of our community. In response to the alarming increase in crime worldwide, Project Stop and Think was birthed in the mind of founder and CEO Dr. Niels Chaitan. Project Stop and Think is a powerful, life-changing program which is designed to take a person from failure to phenomenal success through self-awareness. Project Stop and Think continues to make global but personal impact on the lives of many persons across the world, spanning from Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, all the way to Kenya, Ethiopia, and even from Jamaica in the north to Trinidad and Tobago in the south, including 10 Caribbean islands so far. Today we are also here to celebrate another milestone. So we have double celebrations today. Today we are here to celebrate with the Project Stop and Think staff and the members of this very important game-changing movement, 20 years of life-changing impact internationally. Let's put our hands together for their impact, their contributions, their sacrifice. And even this evening is another testament of their many successes. But joining our celebration today, we would like to specially recognize the presence of Minister Delma Thomas, MP for St. Andrews Northwest, and Minister of Mental Health and Wellness and Religious Affairs. Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Naomi Jeremiah, and staff of the Ministry of Mental Health and Wellness and Religious Affairs. Chief Magistrate of Grenada, Ms. Francine Foster. Magistrate, Ms. Kina Maras of the Grenville Magistrate Court. Attorney at Law Ruggles Ferguson, and colleagues representing the Bar Association of Grenada. We welcome in a special way our guest speaker from the Royal Grenada Police Force, Constable 461, Mr. Laurie Williams, of whom you shall hear a bit more later. Members of the Royal Grenada Police Force that are present today, Ms. Julia Lawrence, the most recent past president of Rotary Grenada, and also a proud sponsor of Project Stop and Think 2026. Mr. Leslie Ramdani and associates of LL Ramdani and Co., Project Stop and Think 2026 sponsor. Representatives and members of the Rotary Club Grenada East, another Project Stop and Think sponsor of 2026. The administration and staff of the Calico Supermarket, yet another sponsor of the Project Stop and Think Initiative 2026. Other distinguished guests, business community of the Grenville community, our Project Stop and Think graduating class and supporters. And of course, we want to welcome the presence of the Almighty God. Today, as we celebrate, it's another timely reminder that a local dream can indeed become an international success. I believe that in the mind of at least one of these graduates, a seed has been planted. Probably a vision has been inspired on your heart and your mind. But what we are actually experiencing today started with one seed, one dream, one vision, one sight of the future. And years later, here we are, having touched countless lives across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we now get ready for the entrance of the graduating class of 2026. Let's put our hands together as we encourage them. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together one more time for our army of 70 strong agents of change. You would observe with me that our graduating class spans a very wide age group. We have some young teens, we have some early adults, we have some seniors also with us. And it tells us that change is not squarely only in the hand of some of the adults of our society, but it also takes the young and those with wisdom as we join hands together. We really look forward to the trails that will be blazed as this graduating class of 2026 is deployed further into the world. At this time, I invite you to stand with me as we have the national anthem. You may be seated. At this time, I invite the president of Motivate for Change, Dr. Niels Chaitan, as he introduces the team from Project Stop and Think. Let's put our hands together as he makes his way to the podium.
Thank you, Pastor Jimmy Gordon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about the team, but I can't help but talk about our graduates and how beautiful they look. How beautiful they look. Ladies and gentlemen, when this idea was conceived 20 years ago, as a matter of fact, you probably see on the screen, we are we are celebrating our 20th year this year, starting in 2006 and it's 2026. What a period. We've touched their lives. We've graduated around the world. As you will see a little later, thousands, probably over 10 to 15,000 young people and older ones too. To make it possible, ladies and gentlemen, I was a dreamer, by the way, and Project Stop and Think did not just come out of the blue. I was having some struggles myself with anger. I was having problems with respect issues, and I knew that if I continued living the way I was living, I could get myself in trouble. And so it was a deliberate effort on my part to study the neuroscience of my issues, and that's where Stop and Think was born. However, you would understand to make this happen, it took the patience and love of a good woman. And so she's known as Auntie Patsy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you my wife of 42 years, Ann Chaitan. Would you please stand? Thanks. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and when we moved back to Grenada 7 years ago, we started working with the Ministry of Education and Social Development. And so we teamed up with the RGPF, Royal Grenada Police Force, and under our own mantra, which was encouragement above enforcement, we drafted in our ranks one of Grenada's finest, a officer and a gentleman. Put your hands together for 461 Larry Williams. Later on, ladies and gentlemen, we needed medical advice and medical care. And so coming in our ranks was registered nurse Emlyn Thomas. Put your hands together for her. Would you please stand? And recently, ladies and gentlemen, joining the team is Miss Ethlyn Williams, and she is our public relation person. Would you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, above all, we give thanks today to the Almighty who has done this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you.
If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you.
All right, there's a place for people like you, and that includes you that are here in the audience supporting this graduating class today of 2026. That was just a little tribute there, reminding us that such, achievements, it really takes the hands working together of countless persons who made their contributions and their sacrifices. At this time, we invite again Dr. Niels Chaitan as he gives a history and overview of the Project Stop and Think program. I await keenly and even eagerly as we retrace the footsteps of where such a landmark program started. Dr. Chaitan.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2026, I want you to know you belong to a big family. A big family. We've done this around the world, really. And you are going to find sometimes your brother or your sister stop and thinker. Listen, my dear friends, when this is over today, look at the person sitting by you and understand they could never be your enemy after today, but your friend, someone who has taken a respect pledge together with you. So let me give you quickly a background. Okay. It's good to be young, you could jump down. Hallelujah. There was a fellow in Granville that we used to call Caracus Sparrow. Mr. Duncan, I don't think you ever heard about him. Yeah, Caracus Sparrow used to sing All Battery Run Cool. Okay. Can I talk to you from here, folks? Mr. Cameron, are you okay there? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Motivate for Change International. Motivate for Change International is the parent organization. It's a Canadian registered social change agency that has made a mark across Canada. When you see the stop sign on our logo, by the way, the big M does not stand for McDonald's. So don't expect fries and burgers when you see the M. It stands for Motivate for Change. Ladies and gentlemen, the name came out because I was told as a young boy in Methodist school in Grenville that if I didn't change, somebody's going to kill me and I'll end up in jail. Probably stop and think, graduates. Don't let it happen to you. Don't let people decide what's going to happen to you. I'm very sorry to tell you that the 3 people that told me that somebody's going to kill me and I go to jail because of my big mouth, they all are dead. And I'm alive. Don't let what people say about you become a reality. So, ladies and gentlemen, I did not die. I'm here. So if they say if you didn't change, somebody's going to kill you or you go to jail. And I've never been to jail. Yes, I've been to jail over 600 times, by the way. Never been charged once. Always to rescue somebody and say, hey, man, you could do better than that. So Motivate for Change is the parent company. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to let you know that the Project Stop and Think Express train has pulled into a number of stations. Stations in Canada, stations across the U.S., a matter of fact, 7 states in the U.S., stations across England, from those who know England, from Brixton, South London, all the way to Manchester, we've worked. Kenya, Ethiopia, Guam, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, St. Kitts, and Nevis. We have 2 separate islands because, of course, if you know the politics, there's a federal, 2 different islands. Antigua, Anguilla, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, and we are back in Grenada. Ladies and gentlemen, that train is moving quickly, and we ask you to please jump on board because we are heading to success land. On May 5, 2026, at the York University in Toronto, we launched Project Stop and Think. Ladies and gentlemen, Project Stop and Think is... You got to get one out. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, man, thank you. Let me get back on stage. Project Stop and Think was launched, as I said, 20 years ago at the prestigious York University, at the campus of York University. It was amazing, my dear friends, to see 40 school buses, full-length school buses, pull up on York University and gave them a headache. They could not handle the traffic there. As our Project Stop and Think graduates poured out, 1,563 of them. That's when we launched our banner, Project Stop and Think. There we have, by the way, it was on my son's birthday, so he was on stage with us. Then we got into the community, and these are just some of our graduates from the community. In 2006, we went into Kenya, and where we also worked with young people there, trying to help them. It's a really tough life there to get up, think about their creativity, what God has blessed them with, not concentrating on what they don't have, but what God has blessed them with and how to make success out of it. That was Kenya. In 2012, you might have heard about the largest shooting spree in Canadian history in the Scarborough area called the Danzig community, where 23 people were shot on one event. And that was Project Stop and Think, working with Metro Police there. That's Project Stop and Think in Red Hook, Brooklyn, New York, in 2013. And somebody may know this individual. She's an original Grenville girl, Miss Seppi's daughter, Laurel, by the way, authenticating or endorsing Project Stop and Think in New York City. In 2014, we came to Carriacou. And ladies and gentlemen, we worked across Carriacou and Petit-Martinique. And in July of that year, we graduated 136 people from Carriacou and Petit-Martinique. Thank you very much. This is our team there. I want to show you this. On my extreme right, there should be a pointer here. Yeah, on my extreme right is my older sister, Verdlin, born and raised right down the street here. then Emmeline, the love of my life, Auntie Patsy, my mom, my little sister, and that's me, by the way. In the middle is Senator Jester Emmons of Carriacou. That's in Carriacou, by the way, in the stadium in Leicester. In 2015, we went on to Jamaica, and there was a big setup of 675 young people, and we did it for 1 month in Jamaica. In 2015, that year, we also went into St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and you know the gentleman that's hugging me, Ralph Gonzalez. This is Georgetown Secondary. This is North Union Secondary. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, we had 5,000 stop and thinkers on the streets of Bastia, St. Kitts and Nevis. We were asked to come into St. Kitts and Nevis to spend 3 years, well, it was 2. We ended up spending 3 years with them because they had the highest homicide rate in the Western world, that little island. We went in there and we launched Project Stop and Think. And what the picture you're seeing here is just the back end of 5,000 people with their Stop and Think shirts shouting no to crime and violence. This is just one of the young men taken to the microphones to say, ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, at the independence celebration of St. Kitts and Nevis, our stop and thinkers who were now disciplined and were working together with the police took to the Independence Parade Square. And with our logo on them, they marched and executed a serious eyes right, all the little ones, on the parade square. In 2024, we worked with Dr. Caius Alfred as one of the sponsors, where we graduated 400 like this, in a graduation like this. This is a group from Dennery, if you know St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, it come 2021. And right here in our island, we got a call from the Eastern Division of the Police, RGPF. And they had some concerns for one of my favorite spots in Grenada, which is Mount Horn. And so, ladies and gentlemen, our team took to Mount Horn. And it was amazing with the kind of results we saw there. Ladies and gentlemen, on that day, graduation day, we had 43 young people from Mount Horn. Put your hands together for them, please. Graduating. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, we also want to change the profile of communities because, you know, in Grenada here, we treat people based on the community they come from. We say, oh, you come from Montu. Oh, you come from Telescope. Oh, you come from Gun Battling Wharf. And so they expect a certain kind of behavior based on where you came from. Ladies and gentlemen, that year we broke that stigma in Mount Horn by putting up a billboard, a Stop and Think billboard that said, Mount Horn, the place where greats are born. So when you swing into Mount Horn, you'll see the big billboard, you'll see all our graduates' name at the top. And these balloons here represent the great teachers, the great lawmakers, or police officers, the great farmers. We didn't leave the farmers out. And all the greats among the great cricketers and football players. Unfortunately, with the coming of Hurricane Beryl, the boat disappeared. But that was Mount Horn. Ladies and gentlemen, came 2024, and I'm seeing people here that were there. I see Mr. Ferguson there, who was actually at this one. We did 8 communities around Grenada, 8 communities, and on the 1st of December, 2024, we had a spectacular graduation ceremony of 206 in the Olympic House in Grandance. It was a spectacular moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you are sitting right now. And some of you may see yourself there as we came here every Tuesday to teach. So, ladies and gentlemen, you ask, what do you teach? Ladies and gentlemen, leading our complete philosophy is a change matrix. I told these young men and ladies, I cannot change you. I'm not a miracle worker. If you have issues, I can't change you. However, what I could do, I could give you the information you need to change. And so our change matrix starts with information. That's all I am, an informant. Not a police informant, so don't be scared, all right? I give the information. We give the information. Our team gives the information. Then the second arm is contemplation. And we told you that contemplation means deep thinking. When you come here and you hear our presentations, don't let, as grandma used to say, don't let it come through this ear and come through this ear. Leave something aside to think about. So the next arm is contemplation. Then the next arm is belief. Until you believe it, you would not use it. But ladies and gentlemen, belief alone wouldn't get you change. You must apply it. And this is the mantra. This is what we've used. And when you apply the information, when you contemplate on it, when you believe it, and when you apply it, something happens by itself. Change happens by itself. Nobody had to beat you. Nobody had to send you in jail. Nobody had to do anything. It's going to happen by itself. Ladies and gentlemen, until we really believe and apply what we believe, life will only be one vicious, unending cycle of meaningless routines, hurt and thoughtless reactions with no significant change occurring. You would end up having a whole lifestyle change. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not teach or copyright anything that I haven't applied myself. I live this mantra, this matrix, by the way. And so, quickly, our program was broken down into three thirds. The first third, sessions 1 to 4, dealt with self-discovery. A lot of people are having issues in life because they don't know who they are. They don't know where they're coming from. They don't know what their gifts and special talents are. And so the first 1/3 deals with self-discovery, self-identification, self-assertiveness. The second third deals with self-control, self-regulation. Deal with anger, revenge, and what have you. The last third deals with self-empowerment, self-achievement, and success. We do not talk success, we talk phenomenal success. Can it happen? Yes, it can. And now I'm going to ask my graduating class to help me here. You know this, don't you? Every man is a money-making machine. But how much he make depend on his A. What's that A? His B, his behavior. His C, creativity. And his D, oh, you learned well. Please use it. Every man is a money-making machine. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to see beggars. I hate to see people in Grenville. Give me $1. I know boys that went to SAS with me and were brighter than me. And they're asking for $1 on the street. Because nobody told them that they're special and God gifted them with something to make them money. All I had was a big mouth. Still have it, by the way. Still have it. So every man is a money-making machine. How much he makes depends on his attitude, his behavior, his creativity, and his decision. As long as it feels good, you will keep on doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime you do something that's negative in your past and you're gloating over it, you're thinking back on it, you're reminiscing and saying, whoa, boy, that was good. Oh, yeah. And you know it was wrong, but you enjoy it in your mind. You're at risk to repeat it. As long as it feels good, you will keep on doing it and will only stop. When you see this guy, he's thinking about it. He's smiling. Unless you reach here where you say, how could I have done this? How stupid was I? And then give yourself a slap too. Yeah, you see me do that before. Unless you reach that point, change is not going to happen. If you don't have anything not to mess up, you will mess up. Think about it. If you don't have anything not to mess up, if you don't have a dream, my dear friends, and that's why we talked about dream, and we talk about framing a kite, like how you frame your dream. Paper it nice, fly it high. If you don't have a dream that you can't afford to mess up, your risk of messing up is great. Truth sounds like hate. When I spoke about marijuana, smoking and alcohol drinking. I know it was going to hurt some of you guys. But as I said, truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of years ago, I was in St. Lucia working, Project Stop and Think, and I got a call from Magistrate Nevelyn John of the Guelph Magistrate Court. She called me and gave me 5 young men to work with. One of them was a young man by the name of Macari George. Macari George was fed up with life. Macari George was fed up with school. He had failed grade 2 probably over and over, and he was about to drop out. Macari George didn't like me because I was saying the truth. However, I gave Macari George a ride from Guelph into Victoria. And Macari George, I asked him, Macari, how would you take care of yourself and your family? He said very rudely to me, I'll be a fisherman. So I said, well, if you're going to be a fisherman, then you know what, I'll buy you a pole and go and catch a snapper and make some waters, that in Grenville called waters, by the way, and drink, and then tomorrow you're hungry again. Or Macari, see that boat out there? A trawler, by the way. You could own one of them, and you could make in $10,000 a week. He looked at me and he said, true, sir? I said, it could happen. I said, but it means you got to go back to school, Macari. Macari, you can't drop out in Form 2. You got to graduate. He said to me, okay. I thought he was joking. I thought he was trying to just drive me away. I went to Toronto to have Christmas with our children. And when I came back, I got a call from Ms. Digans. And she said to me, Mr. Chaitin, are you a miracle worker? I said, no, sir. No, ma'am, I'm not, but I know the miracle worker, by the way. She said to me, Macari George had been coming to school. Macari knew that if he wanted to own a trawler and make thousands and $10,000, he had to have a good education. He knew he had to learn how to finish projects. He knew that. And so when I came back, Ms. Digans called me and said, Dr. Chaitin, from January, Macari George is not giving any trouble. Macari George is coming to school 8 every morning. Macari George is now my helper. Wow. I almost cried, man. I drove right up to St. Mark to see Macari. He said to me, yes, sir. He gave me a bounce. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because of Macari George, he asked if the program would come into St. Mark's, and we graduated 23 young men from the. Put your hands together for the young men. Ladies and gentlemen, I look at Macari as he kept focus going. A boy that was going to drop out in Form 2. Oh my God, Friday gone, this Friday, it was a tear-jerking time for me. I didn't know if to cry or to laugh, smile. As I heard the name call, a young man who was going to drop out, finish school with 6 awards. My dear friends, today I give you Macari George. Would you please stand? And ladies and gentlemen, Macari George will be joining the line here to congratulate his fellow Stop and Thinkers. Jamal Francis was another young man from St. Kitts and Nevis that didn't like me, hated me, because I was saying what he was going through. That boy didn't like me. That's in the Horizon, which is the equivalent to the Grand Bacolet Juvenile Center. I went in and I spoke, and as I spoke more and more every week, I saw him coming up front. I didn't know. I was hoping he wouldn't hurt me. And he sat up front, ladies and gentlemen, and then I said to him, he said to me, Dr. Chaitin, I want to be just like you. I said, boy, you could talk like me, boy. I'm a chatterbox, you know. He said, me too. Ladies and gentlemen, here was Jamal Francis graduating from the program, and he said to me, watch this. He said to me, I want to talk like you. I said, don't try that with me, you know, because I'll set you up. I said, do you have a jacket, a suit? He said, I could get one. My brother could bring me one. I said, I'll pick you up and sign you off on Sunday coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamal did not know that I had a big meeting with the Commissioner of Police, Prime Minister, and everybody. Oh, you want to talk like me? I'll give you a chance to talk, boy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, dressed in his jacket, I had him backstage, and I told his story. And as I told his story, I introduced him to the crowd. There he is. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the presentation, there was not one dry eye, including the Prime Minister. I said to him, what do you want to do with your life, man? He said to me, look, Dr. Chaitan, I want to be a soldier. I said, boy, what are you talking about? You know what it is to be a soldier? Discipline. If you don't make the right turn and you make a left instead, they make you do 100 push-ups. I said, you ready for that? He said, if that's what it takes, I will be a soldier. I thought he was joking. Before we left, Patsy and I left St. Kitts, ladies and gentlemen, I went looking for Jamal Francis. There he is. There he is. There he is. He is now a sergeant in the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force. So, ladies and gentlemen, talking to our class and talking to you too, life would not be fair every time. Relationships are going to break down. People are going to profile you by one mistake. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. What are you talking about? Absentee fathers, abusive parents. Ladies and gentlemen, divorce and separation wrecking our world. People are divorcing and separating, not thinking about the children. Child had to spend Sunday with mom and Monday with dad, with stepmom. Emotional, sexual, and physical abuse. Innocent, unjust suspension, detention, jail. Character change because of one mistake. Unjust police harassment. Unemployment and poverty. All these, failure and loss, all these are unfairness of life. Community profiling and low expectations. Accidental untimely death. Chronic illnesses and hopelessness. Ladies and gentlemen, when that happened to you, I give you 2 G's. 1 G takes you down, 1 G takes you up. 1 G takes you down with failure and disaster. The other G takes you up with rewards, fulfillment, and phenomenal success. You got to make a choice. So you ask me today, what is the first G? Give up. You can just give up and say, okay, I'm out of it. That's why we see so much suicides around the place. People are giving up. Or, ladies and gentlemen, the better G is, what's it? Get up. Get up. Life is going to be tough, but you can get up. Kirani James ran to defend his gold medal. You heard the story. We talked about it. But this is going on camera, so Dr. Kirani James, Sir Kirani James must know that he is a national hero, an example for our young men. Kirani James ran in 2012 and brought gold home to us. We are so ecstatic, excited. We boast all over the world. I was in Toronto boasting about our 400 gold medalists. He had to defend his title in Brazil 4 years afterwards. The whole of Grenada was dependent on Kirani. He had a good reason not to run. He was diagnosed with grave disease. And if you know this autoimmune disease, it actually causes you to fatigue easily. Kirani had a good reason, a good excuse. But Kirani knew we all depend on him. And that boy jumped off the block with grave disease and ran, man, as though a Doberman was behind him. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing silver to our country. Some people still vex with him, but he did his best. He did his best. The only way you treat another man as royalty is when you first find royalty yourself. And graduating class, I told you, when people disrespect you, you don't have to disrespect them. You feel sorry for them. I didn't do this guy nothing. He come and question me about my mother. Poor guy. Poor guy. If I do what I feel like doing, sorry for you. Go home to your family. Ladies and gentlemen, respect is not reciprocal. You don't give respect to get respect. You give respect because the other person is a member of my race or my species, and that is human. That's where you clap right now. So what to expect? We told you, graduating class, what to expect. We told you that if you listen well and you use the matrix, contemplate, information, contemplate, belief. We told you if you use that, you'll be a different individual. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your turn. It's your call. Would you walk out of here the same person? Or would you walk with a different individual? We told you your family will see a difference in you and be proud of you. We told you that you will make better decisions instead of impulsive responses that can get you in trouble. We told you your future will look brighter as you discover your purpose, plan to live for it. We told you you will be less likely to get charged by the police if you stop and think. We told you in case you have a court charges and you show that you want to be a different person, we will write the reports and come to court with you. We told you that, and we still stand by that, by the way. And finally, we told you that you will receive a Canadian Social Skills Certificate, which is all packaged here for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, as the government say, promise given, promise kept. I thank you so much for your time. God bless you.
All right. I believe that the sponsors, you have a reason to smile this evening. You know, many times we can talk about programs, but the proof is not in the pudding. But this evening, I think we can all feel very satisfied that what Project Stop and Think boasts of, it actually delivers. We have seen and heard, we had a chance just to bask in it, the many success stories that this powerful program has wrought, and we believe that 70 success stories are also sitting right here before us. I believe that very soon in the future, the next time Dr. Chaitan does some of his presentations at the next graduating ceremony, probably one or two of your faces may be there, of a promise that was not just given, but you followed through. You have received the tools, and we believe with all our hearts that you're going to live up to these high ideals. You know, every graduation ceremony, there's always a speaker who walks the walk and talks the talk. Someone that can identify with the ceremony and the lives of the individuals that are sitting here before us. To introduce our guest speaker, I would like to introduce, as he refers to her, the love of his life, Mrs. Patsy Chaitan, as she introduces our guest presenter. Let's put our hands together for her as she elegantly makes her way to the podium. And we see they have their nice matching colors, looking into each other's eye as teenage lovebirds.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker for our Project Stop and Think graduation 2026. Mr. Chairman, please allow me to adopt the protocol already established. 6 years ago, when we moved back to Grenada as crime reduction specialists to run this STAR behavioral program by Ministry of Education, young Constable Laurie was assigned to us. I still remember the young men in our program's reaction with the, if that man is coming, we're going back home. You see, as a police officer, Constable Laurie was familiar with these boys, and he knew of their behavioral issues. However, with some training and encouragement from Dr. Chaitan, he blossomed into one of Grenada's finest community policing officers, inspiring change in schools and in the community. across the island. For this work, he has received many awards and recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me welcome to the microphone my officer, Constable 461, Laurie Williams.
Thank you. Pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Chairman, please permit me to stand on the protocol already established. But I'd like to recognize Magistrate Maras and PS. Thank you for being here. Dr. Chaitan, CEO and founder of Motivate for Change. Families and friends, and you, the most important group this afternoon, graduates of Project Stop and Think. Now it's a real pleasure and an honor to be here this evening. And I was sitting there and I'm asking myself, what do I say now? Dr. Chaitan has said so much. But I had a presentation organized here, but I'll forgo this. I just want to speak to you young people this evening. Now here is a story of a young man, grew up in an area, a single parent mother. Before she came along, all he had was his grandma, grandpa, and auntie. And they didn't have much, not much. But decided that, school is important, education is the utmost important, so it's going to battle through. I remember his last day in primary school, no shoes on his feet, short khaki pants, yellow shirt. And moving on to secondary school, it was not easy. I remember him with his face filled with Lota, back at the class, if you want to call it, sitting there, and shy. Went to secondary school, 5 years, basically. Nobody basically knew him. They remembered him for playing cricket. Was not an A+ student, but he made it through. After this, no college education, straight to a supermarket. I remember his first job, 3 days work, and he was sent home after that because his mom came to drop some lunch for him, and the owner said, I'm not accepting anything for anyone. She said to the owner, send my son home, he is not going to suffer. He got home angry because he lost his job. But then he realized the reason why she did that, and he understood. Went back next day for his salary. 3 days work, 7 in the morning to 7 at night, doing sales on the road. All he had for lunch was, they call them Happy Cow these days, that cheese and a tea time biscuits with a small chubby. With a chubby, it was chubby always small, with a chubby. I got there. I give away the story. Yeah. I got there, and what I received for my salary was $30.30. 3 days work. I took it, I left, and kept that in my pocket for a very long time. I moved on from there, another supermarket job, $198 a fortnight. That was money to me in those times. Spent some time there, left. Well, not left, but found another job. Call centers, Grenada. 5 years as a telemarketer. And that time I had the opportunity to take care of myself and give some help home. I'm saying to you young people, I never had a college education. Up to this day, still don't have one. But I'm saying to you, I fought. I battled it through. Some of you say to me that we don't have a choice. Every one of you have a choice. There is always a choice. And it's upon you to choose and choose wisely. I had a choice when Dr. Chaitan came to Grenada and he asked for one officer to come work with him on his program. I remember entering Monlong. I knew the group of young men I was working with. And when I told people We are sleeping at Mont Long. They were like, Mr. Larry, you're crazy, you're sleeping with these guys? Those young men are my friend. And I spent time with them. And with the help of Dr. Chaitan and Tanti Patsy, I just started loving working with young people. Mind you, I spent 5 years at Granville Secondary School as a PE teacher under the Imani program. Nobody knew that because I love what I did and I enjoyed it. And from there, I said to the principal at that time, because of the influence of friends, I am talking about positive influence now, to join the RGPF. One of them is a corporal, she is a prosecutor. Mrs. Swan and her husband, they encouraged me to join the RGPF. It's been 16 years, and I'm there. And I'm enjoying this to the fullest, because you know what? I get to work with people like Dr. Chaitan, and I get to speak to young people like you, to encourage, to motivate. And I say to you today, young people, this is not just about a graduation ceremony. This is about you having a second chance. This is about resilience. This is about you making positive change. And I believe that if you took what Dr. Chaitan would have said to you over the past weeks, when you leave from here today, you are going to be a different person. I want you to be different. I want you to stop thinking that you are not important, because you are your most important person. I'm looking at you there now. I'm seeing some adults. I'm seeing minors there. I say to you, childhood gives you excuses. Adulthood gives you consequences. You young people, at your tender age of 12, 13, 14, 15, and I say to you, you will not be a juvenile forever. I always say that to young people when I meet them. This is the age of excuses. This is the age where somebody is going to represent you. Probation, your teacher, your parent have to be there if the police have to speak to you. But when you hit that age of 18, adulthood, when you have no one to call, to sit with you, then you realize it's a different stage in life. I say to you, when you get information, when you get opportunities, I want you to use them wisely. You see, you think the justice system is cruel sometimes. I think we have a really good one. For magistrates and lawyers to lobby so you can come sit in a session like that. When you know sometimes some of the offenses that you commit could land you straight in the juvenile center and in prison. So you are given a second chance, young people, a second chance at life to make a difference, to be a better example, to make your parents proud, even at this point. And I'm happy that we have programs like this, because Motivate for Change, Project Stop and Think, is something that I believe will not just change your life, but a lot of other young people on our island. We have seen the impact that it has had over the years in different countries, and the amount of young people that has graduated. And you yourself know are included. So I want you to give yourself a round of applause, young people, for just being that special group. Nothing in this life comes easy. You have to work hard for what you want. But you hear Dr. Chaitan mention earlier on that we don't just want success, we want phenomenal success. I say to you, I don't care where you come from, who mommy is or daddy might be, which community that you belong to. Hello? You are the one that can make a difference. You can make a difference for your community. You can make a difference for that parish. You can make a difference for your nation. But you have to want it. When opportunities are afforded to you, you have to tell yourself, listen, I'm going to take this with both hands. I'm going to make the best of it. I hope and pray and I trust God that this program would continue. Because sometimes I speak and I say to people that we don't just want something to start for 6 weeks or 6 months and you cut it off. We want continuity. All right? We want to see it go on and on and on. So at the end of the day, we can say to ourselves, yes, we are seeing the results. None of this would be a quick fix for you. You think you're going to get up there today and become perfect? None of us will be. But you're going to have to fight hard to become the best version of yourself. Life becomes very selfish at times. There are some times when you have to just think about you. You are your most important person. I'm saying this to you because sometimes you have friends around you who are always going to influence you in doing the wrong thing. You need to be able to make a decision, make a choice as to where do I go? Do I follow them or do I separate myself? You may lose friends, but that's okay. Because at the end of the day, the result that you're looking for, you will certainly get it. You want success. You want to do your best. And if you stick with some people, that is not going to happen. So I say to you, from this program, that you start learning to make those positive choices. Make that change. You are important, young people. Now, I know I'm seeing some faces here that I saw before in graduations, but that's okay. You are getting another chance. Make use of it. There are other persons behind this, the sponsors. It's not easy come. Dr. Chaitan has to put himself out there to get stuff organized so that they can do this for you. And I'm saying to you that you should appreciate these things. Appreciate the fact that someone would have given you that chance to be here today. So, Doc has said a lot already. I don't want to keep you any longer. So, as you live here this evening, as you move on, it's another stage. As you head back to the community, you're going to hear so many things. People tell you, oh, you will never change. You know, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Use this as motivation to push yourself, to move forward, and show them that it doesn't matter what you say about me, how you feel about me, I know what I want. I know what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, you're going to see yourself rising to different levels. So to the young ones, to the adults, I just want to say to you, congratulations. God bless you. We are proud of you. Keep going. All right? Thank you so very much.
You know, some of the best speeches given were never read, but it was said. The many time I saw he folded that script, I said that is coming from the bowels of his heart. And indeed, very, very inspiring. And it hits different when you actually come from that background and you understand struggle. You can better identify and inspire. And Constable 461, we thank you so much for all the contributions, your selflessness. I know that being a police officer of itself is a lot of work, but to also give yourself unselfishly to such an initiative is very, very highly commendable. And we would understand that some of life's best awards may not necessarily be given in the form of a plaque or trophy, but indeed when the Almighty God takes record. And what you have done can never be erased, but we believe it will stand as a testament throughout time and eternity. Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together for such a rousing, very, very much so inspiring delivery. All right, to give some brief remarks on behalf of the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs, we would invite at this time Mrs. Naomi Jeremiah, the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs. Let's put our hands together as we warmly welcome her.
Thank you very much, Masters of Ceremony. Pleasant good afternoon to all our gatherings here this afternoon. I am so happy to see so many men. I also like to recognize Mr. Richard Dunction. I also like to recognize our magistrate, attorney of law, Ruggles Ferguson, other persons from the legal paternity, the team of Project Stop and Think, and most important, the mastermind of today, Dr. Niels Chaitan. Let's put our hands together for him. You know, God has really been good to Grenada, that we are able to participate in such a powerful training. Today, we are the ministry on behalf of our Minister for Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs, Minister Honorable Delma Thomas. She's unable to be here, but I guess she may be looking in and seeing as much of the young persons, senior, who are here today to participate and to gather it. You know, change. I'm hearing a lot about change in lifestyle. Today, you have won the lotto. I want to give you a round of applause. You have won the lotto. You won't believe that how empowered you are today. You know, when you think about men and what is happening in the world with men, I am happy to see all the faces. Men, we are the Ministry of Mental Health soon. We are going to be launching our suicide prevention hotline. And from our statistics, the evidence is showing that most of the suicides that are committed and suicide ideation and persons who attempt suicide are mainly men. And also last month, in the month of June, we had worked along with many of the men to do programs to empower you. We at the ministry, we are ready. We want to have a year when we will have no suicide in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. 0. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for that. You know, we are a small community, and persons, as one of the, do not know their values sometimes. They have lost hope. Many times, crimes begin when you're in a home that is broken, and you feel like you cannot go anymore. But I want you to know that above all, there is somebody in the Bible by the name of Caleb. Caleb had a rough time. He was a spy sent to bring back a message to the children of Israel. And only 2 persons brought positive message. In your life, I want you to be a Caleb. Bring back positive message, because you know he was 85 years when he reached to the promised land. Life at times may take a toll on you that you may not be able to reach the promised land at a glance. But what you need to do is have determination. Persevere. I recall being in the public service for 38 years. I started off as a clerical person in the Ministry of Health. At the time, I was young. I didn't know what the future, but what I knew is that I trust in God, and I decided to persevere. Persevere. You have talents. You have worth. God have a plan for your life. And I want you to be focused. And as you get this training here, be a trainer. Train others. Those you know around you in your communities that have issues with behavioral patterns and behavior, attitude and behaviors. You are the mentors. Now, I want to give yourself a round of applause. You will be mentoring the others. And we hope and pray that Grenada will be a country where men will be stalwarts, men will be fathers, men will be husbands, men will be one who we, our women, can depend on because of this program, Project Stop and Think. I am happy, and we will continue to collaborate with Dr. Chaitan and the Project Stop and Think committee to have more programs rolled out to various communities. So I personally would like to say thank you, Doc. You have been a light. We continue to work together with all our stakeholders. I know at times, being in the magistrates' court, at certain times, it can be difficult for the magistrates and what they are being faced with. But I thank God that my ministry, Ministry of Mental Health, can continue to make a change wherever we see. And we thank God that we are able to work together as a team. At that note, I'd like to also thank my staff at the Ministry of Mental Health. I don't know if they are wrong. I'd like to thank Matron and Nurse Klein and Ms. Bob, Kinder, Kemmer, my secretary, Mr. Noel, and all the others, my drivers, everybody. We have been in on all of this because we want change. We want to have improvement in our statistics, and we want to see a holistic Grenada with young people, young men with positive dreams. I want you to dream big from today. When you go home tonight, dream big, think big, dream big, because with God, all things are possible. I thank you.
Thank you very much, P.S. Jeremiah. You know, although Project Stop and Think came from the mind, came from the heart of a private citizen, it's very good to know that the backing of our local government is also there. It's community, but it's also on the governmental level. And we are so happy that the Ministry of Mental Health and Wellness and the Religious Affairs has seen it fit to give their support to such a program. At this time, we get ready to hear from some of our sponsors as they bring brief remarks. They have invested, they have contributed, and of course, it's good to see the fruit of their labor. At this time, we would like to invite Miss Julia Lawrence, almost said Miss Julia Roberts. And that's one of the celebrities, you know. But she's also our celebrity here today. And we would want to welcome Miss Julia Lawrence as she speaks on behalf of the Rotary Club of Grenada. Let's put our hands together for one of our major sponsors.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to our graduates. It is an extreme honor for me to be here this evening to just say some brief remarks on behalf of our club, the Rotary Club of Grenada, who, let me say, was the trigger behind 2026's Project Stop and Think, yes? The Rotary clubs of our district were asked to undertake a youth empowerment program. And as president of the club, when I recognized that we had that challenge, my mind immediately went to Dr. Chaitan because I had seen him on television before speaking about this project. And I thought it was appropriate for me to reach out to him. Rotary Club of Grenada, and as Rotarians internationally, we look to build leadership. We invest in our youth. We preach peace. And so this particular program embodies those three areas of focus. It is therefore an honor for me to be a sponsor to this program. We worked and we were supported by the Investment Migration Agency. They supported us in ensuring that we could have had the opportunity to sponsor this program. I want to thank Dr. Chaitan and his team for collaborating with us. The members in particular of the St. George's crew. Let me see the St. George's posse. Yeah? We thank you for walking the road. I've attended a couple of your sessions, and I'm really pleased to see you all here this evening. Yep. I recognize some of you who were there from the very first session, and that you stood it out. To each and every one of you graduates, I appeal to you to apply the change matrix. And we all want to be a money machine. So we know we have to apply our new ABCD. I hope that you have learned those well, and you will certainly apply them. Do not keep the information to yourself. Ensure that you pass it on. As a previous speaker said, you can also be mentors. Yeah? Ensure that you engage your other friends. I know that we have a number of students from the various schools. Please be leaders. You can each be a leader in your corner. Be a light and shine some light. Based on the discussions that I witnessed when I attended, I know that we have some brilliant persons around. You may have some challenges, but you now have the tools that will enable you to climb over those hurdles. So I urge you once again to remember all of the great things that were imparted to you. I congratulate you for staying the course and coming through those 12 sessions. And I'm certain that it will make a difference in your lives, and Grenada will be a better place because of this 60-plus graduates of you who are here today. I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lawrence. And we believe that the choice to sponsor Project Stop and Think was indeed a God-led one. And today we have seen that that investment has paid you full dividends. I would say even much more than 100% yield. So that's an excellent investment. We have heard from our founder. We have heard from government officials. We have heard from one of our community groups, one of our major sponsors. And at this time, we'd like to hear the voice representing one of the, well, of course, the legal arm of Grenada. And he would be representing the Grenada Bar Association. And at this time, we invite Mr. Ruggles Ferguson to give some brief remarks. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, and all you distinguished guests, graduates, and I recognize the protocols list established before. It was a challenge to be in Grenville on Monday evening because I have a preset schedule, and probably Monday evening is one of my busiest evenings, apart from a long day. But I really had to be here. I really had to be here. When Dr. Chaitan called, he sent an invitation, and he called, and he spoke about the graduation. I felt duty-bound, really duty-bound, to drop everything and to be physically present to support the wonderful work he has been doing over the past 20 years that has culminated in this evening's very impressive exercise. I remember about 2 years ago, I recommended to the Bar Association that we establish a Grenada Peace Initiative. It came on the heels of an outburst of activity, what was then described as gang-related activity and shootings, just reckless shootings and killings of several of our young people. And we decided that it was time to get the nation, not just as a bar association, but get the nation together, collaborate with other entities to establish a peace initiative that would basically promote peace, that would engage with the quote-unquote gangs, go out to the schools and spread the word of peace, of conflict resolution, of stress management. And I remember calling Dr. Chaitan, and we were mobilizing the committee. And as I started, within seconds, he was on board. And I always remember that. I attended the graduation last year. Very impressive, very impressive. And actually, I thought that what came out of the graduation last year should have been headlines for weeks. Headlines for weeks. I was so impressed when especially there was someone from the Caranache from the Carnage, Shorty, as a matter of fact. And I went there, and I saw Shorty being part of the program. Many of you may have heard about Shorty or know Shorty. And Shorty came up speaking against violence and promoting peace, promoting peaceful resolution of disputes. And peace is a challenge in the world today. You see the TV, you hear the news, all that is happening. Bigger nations taking advantage of smaller nations. Crimes in respective countries, just south of us. Kidnappings, home invasions, crimes you never conceived before have become the norm. And we have the internet there where people use it, not in the positive way that it was intended to be, but to source all kinds of different negatives that would only pull you down. And therefore, we need more and more programs like these. We need more and more programs. And I really commend Dr. Chaitan and team. And let me ask that you give him again a special round of applause this evening. Because, you know, it's easy. It's easy to hold the first one. It's easy to hold the first one. Everybody excited, there's crime out there. We need to address it. But not 20. One after the other, year after year, going out into the communities and identifying our youth and turning them around, giving them hope, inspiring them that there is a better world ahead. And I was so happy to see Kirani, because we have examples. Kirani from the belly of gun battle in Guav. And those of you, just the name itself would suggest, the belly of gun battle. And Kirani James, his name would just not live on the athletics field as an athlete, outstanding athlete, but as an outstanding sportsman. If you notice, every time Kirani ends a race, he congratulates everybody. And that sportsmanship, that's probably what people talk more about than even his prowess on the athletic field. And you can be a Kirani. And those are the examples that came out today. The sky is the limit. You know, in life, as the saying goes, I read, one time a few years ago, the saying that if we don't have stress, we will die. Right? Stress. You need stress in your life as a motivator. It is what challenges you to grow and become stronger people, to understand conflict resolution, because I believe that's what the theme of today's, of the program, Stop and Think. Because conflict resolution, you can turn a simple incident into a war, or one in which you actually establish friends with those who you start off with whatever the challenge was. So let me encourage you. Today is just a part of it. And I want to say this. This is not a graduation tonight and you go home and you remember we had fun. But the journey is really a lifetime journey to be positive, to contribute to society as best as you could, and be the best that you can be. And I really want to recognize, it's not my activity, but to make the point that without the sponsors, more and more, I recognize that in order to have this at this professional level, that you need sponsors and you need people who can back you up. And special commendation to the Ramdanis, who always have this activity, this space, this venue for activities like these. So, and I must recognize in the audience Brother Claude Douglas, too, who lecturer Tam Sisi, and who came on board with the Peace Initiative, and we are on a drive to revive it in a big way, because we don't want to be reacting after somebody loses a hand, loses a foot, or loses a life. What we want to do is to prevent it from happening. So, Dr. Triton, I don't think you need the encouragement and the inspiration. I think it's an integral part of you and your team. And let me also say how impressed I am with PC Williams, Laurie Williams. A special round of applause. You know, this is a police constable, and I have to speak to the commissioner to find out why he's not promoted as yet. Because this is the kind of talent that you need. You know, people describe the police as Babylon. Babylon, and these are guys who come out and work with folks who face challenges. So thank you for inviting me to give these remarks. Congratulations to you graduates, male and female of all ages, I see. Make the most of this opportunity. Remember the watchwords, the ABCD. I'm trying to memorize them myself because they are all of value to us. And keep on doing what you are doing, Dr. Triton, and you have the full support of the Grenada Bar Association, and you certainly have my full support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruggles Ferguson. And it's very refreshing to know that the Grenada Bar Association is not only interested in executing the judgments of the law, but is also a driving force behind the Peace Initiative right here in Grenada. And that is very, very encouraging. Whenever you hear the terms lawyer and bar association, you know, young people tend to get a bit on the skeptical side. But just to know that you are here to make a difference for peace and the way forward, we are very, very grateful for this. At this time, we get ready to hear our impact statements. These words and affirmations would reinforce what was taught, what was learned. We're going to do it in batches. All those from Project Stop and Think St. George's. If you have the impact statements, we invite you to come on stage as we share them. So we're going to go to the St. George's group. All those with impact statements, it is now your time to share them with us. All right, let's encourage him as he comes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to read a poem about changed. Okay. We came inside the room. We were thought through. We understand some, we laughed at some, but mostly of them all, we used them to change. We didn't like the hard way, we wanted the easy way. But the room taught us that the hard way can change us into a respectful human. Respect is the way we change, we learn about ourselves. Respect is and others. Respect yourself and you can respect others. As for today and forever, we are going to respect ourselves and others and stop and think to change to a better version of ourselves.
Hello. So my name is Jaquan Ross. I am representing St. George's. I'm going to talk about how it felt like to be in the program. So the first time I heard about the program was when my brother came home. And the first question I asked him was, if you have food? He said no. I was like, I don't go in there again, we. Then I decided to just check it out. When I go now, I realize, well, it ain't so bad. Then I go for our next session. Then Dr. Chaitan, he asked me what school I go in. I told him what school I go in. And I actually learned some stuff. And it really helped me to stop and think about what I was doing. I want to thank Dr. Chaitan for helping me with them stuff. And at the end, we eat pizza, so you work out good.
Let's put our hands together for the men from St. George's. All right, we invite all those with impact statements from Grenville to join us on stage. We heard a poem, we heard a testimony of the pizza and the message. Let's hear what those from Grenville would have to share. Let's put our hands together as we encourage them to the podium to share.
Good evening to everyone. Well, I first learned about the program from my neighbor. She invited me, and we went all the way to St. George's for our first 4 sessions. Then, when they started at Grenville, we joined the Grenville program. One of the reasons why I went is because I have boys, I have sons, I have 2 sons. I'm also a teacher by profession. And the tools, the information that I was receiving was very, very important, and I thought that I could use it with my children as well with the students that I teach on a daily basis. And I must say it was rather inspirational. It was based on his real-life experiences, and it was practical, things that we could actually do. It was simple, and because of the information that I have received, I wish I have learned most of the things I have learned now years ago. However, I want to challenge the young persons who are present that they can make a difference in their families, they can make a difference in their community if they put into use the things that they learned during the 12 weeks. And I want to leave you with a quotation that Dr. Chaitan said. He said, if you don't have a dream, you are going nowhere very quickly.
Awesome.
Good afternoon. My name is Azia Phillip. I started this program a few sessions after it began. I believe that this session has made a positive influence in me, which caused me to think about my actions in a positive way. Therefore, I try to influence others to do the right. Dr. Chaitan is always willing and doesn't hesitate to help to reduce crime and violence in the community. He's always reminding us daily to stop and think before acting, especially to us young people. When involved or getting in a situation we might regret in the future. So thank you, Dr. Chaitan. Where are you? Oh. So thank you, Dr. Chaitan, for your help. Thank you for your positive and interesting ways of helping others stay on the right path, no matter the situation.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michaela Williams, and first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that is here this afternoon to see us graduating. And I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Chaitan for sharing with us, and I'd like for us to use his words as motivation And going forward, I hope his words make a difference in our lives. Thank you.
All right. We have just a few more coming. All right, let's put our hands together as they come, sharing in their impact statements. All right, here he comes in soldier-like fashion. Dr. Chaitan, this man is serious.
Good afternoon to one and all, and good afternoon to the graduates. I'm standing here this afternoon to say a big thanks to Auntie Pam and her husband for this program they done for Grenville and St. George. I wish for our youth to take this program seriously and be up and running. And I wish for 2027 for a beautiful another program. And thank you so much again. And
all right, there we have him. Wonderful. Do we have any more impact statements? Yeah, that was a special one there. Yes. All right, so we have two more impact statements, two gentlemen, as they share reflection of their time as a participant of the program Project Stop and Think.
Good evening to everyone. In the past, we didn't know that we would last. We were just kids, we never knew but skipping class. Our parents always say, come here, you're gonna see. Man, what on earth sounds like a parable to me. We went wrong many times, we sometimes tell a lie. And there were sanctions all the time to catch us by surprise. It's all a part of life, can't make it with a strive. Listen, but you never know until you try. Stop making excuses and get up, make it a run for it. Oh. Past, we didn't knew that we would last. We were just kids, we never knew but skipping class. Our parents always say, come here, you're gonna see. Man, what on earth sounds like a parable to me. We went wrong many times, we sometimes tell a lie. And there were sanctions all the time to catch us by surprise. It's all a part of life, can't make it with a strive. Yeah, but you never know until you try. Stop making excuses and get up, make a run for it. Keep your eyes on the prize and stay positive. Tell the pretty girl you like her, but don't lose your mind. Yeah. The devil's getting weak, but temptation is steep. Yeah. Woman hard to please, of course, but never think about taking her life, no time.
Ain't no way you can go back. Flow
must express my gratitude to Mr. Chaitan. Yeah, I had to take out the sheets. You put your time out every Tuesday to come and teach a lesson. Lost your mom and mother day, still show up with no excuse. You taught me to stand up on my feet even though it's broken. Still, someday I might slip and fall, so keep my wings open. Take a page from Tookie Williams, even though he still died. The badness never triumph. Please stop and think before you proceed. Yeah. Can't go back no time. Folks, you know the drill. You know the people we're surrounded by. The present is different from the past, so just tell me now. As I graduate today from the Stop and Think project, will you go ahead and change the lives or end up behind bars? I see my mama smile, surely, yeah, that's a blessing. Will you make your mama smile too? You should be thinking. Will you go to the world and preach gospel instead of making fears? Or use a surgeon's blade instead of the white man's weapon? It's hard to convince people, but I hope this song doesn't teach you what I feel inside. I hope you take it personal. Yeah. Can't go back no time.
All right. Doing it in his own way, in his own style, right? Wonderful. A tribute, a reflection, poetry, lyrics, with the shades, without the shades. Wheel and come again. Let's put our hands together for all those who shared their impact statements. We are now getting ready for a dramatic piece, right? So this evening we have quite a nice mixture of pieces. We had poetry, we had reflections, and now we are getting ready for a dramatic piece. Ladies and gentlemen, we beg your undivided attention as we are ministered to by some members of the graduating class of 2026.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, so. Conductor. Okay. Okay, move on. Okay, conductor and driver up. Up. Check. Okay. Toyota minibus Black Magic is about to leave Satez for Grenville.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, dollar, man.
Yeah, man. They do a quick.
Yeah.
Bam, there you go. And you going down? Going down?
As the bus gets to Tivoli Junction, a young disabled boy by the name of Terry is waiting to board the bus. Being a bit handicapped, he makes his way onto the bus, but misses his balance and falls.
Yo, man.
Poor Terry is left behind for the next bus. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the way we do it in Grenada. We'll now re-act it the way it should be done. Toyota minibus Black Magic is about to leave Sates for Granville.
You're from Lego.
Oh, you $2 this time, right?
Yeah, they go.
Yeah.
Bam, Lego. And you going down? What cause you going down? Alright, big up yourself.
As they come around the La Porte Junction, young Terry, a disabled handicapped boy, is about to board the bus.
What cause you going down?
As he's about to enter the bus, he misses his balance and falls down on one of the passengers.
You good? You good? Thank you. Make sure you're good. Eh? Wow, you're dirty in your shoes, man.
Good.
Alright.
And the bus moves on to Granville. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our actors. Thank you very much.
Wow. Shaky. Every time I laugh in it. Whoop.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. I am only a part of this program because I came to support my son, as some of the parents are here too, graduating because of our children, in support of them. I want to say a very heartfelt thank you to Auntie Patsy and to Dr. Chaitan for coming here and sharing with us all the information. I know that a lot of us learned a lot, and we will take what we have learned into consideration, right? I'm only here because I want to share a song with you. And before I do, it's just a song to encourage us to don't wait or expect anyone to help us to become successful in life. Know that you are more than capable, with God's help and determination, to do it yourself. All pirates, yes, they're a buy, sold I to the merchant ships. from the bottomless pit, but my hands was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it, but we've got to fulfill the book. And won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have is redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the times. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it, but we've got to fulfill the book. And won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have is redemption songs, redemption songs, these songs of freedom, songs of freedom. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, these words were penned by the late iconic music legend Robert Nesta Marley, affectionately known as Bob Marley. In his time, he experienced great systemic oppression, as we would call it. But he refused to be handcuffed mentally, and he penned the words of that song, Redemption Song. And young people, it's a reminder that it doesn't matter where you come from, what's happening around you, but you can always liberate your mind. Your mind is really the window through which you see your life. And as long as you can see it right here, indeed, it can become your reality. At this time, right, 1, 2, mic check. At this time, we would like to invite Dr. Chaitan one more time as he leads us in the Motivate for Change International Proclamation, followed by the Respect Pledge. This time again, we welcome Dr. Chaitan.
I think it's on. Yeah, okay. All right. Quickly, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to stand here as the president of Motivate for Change International, a Canadian entity, to make a proclamation. At this time, I ask my sisters, my blood sisters, that's Verlin Bernard, Etlin Chaitin, Etlin Williams, and Emmeline Thomas to please stand, come to the front. Ladies and gentlemen, we were born and raised just down the street here. Original Grenville people. Come right here. Go on, come up. The project Stop and Think Express has pulled, as you saw, into a number of places around the world. That's the big sisters that beat me when I was a little boy. And by the way, the shortest one is the biggest sister. Come on this side so they can see the screen. All right, stand there. Ladies and gentlemen, as you saw, we are heading to Success Land. However, as we celebrate our 20th anniversary today, we have come back to our hometown. We have traveled around the world and made impact around the world, but it's time to bring it home. What do you say? So, ladies and gentlemen, the Stop and Think train comes to its home stop of Grenville today. In 2013, my mother, Felicity Chaitin, accompanied me and the team to intervene in a homicide that happened in the Happy Hill Secondary School, where a young boy was murdered. And so my mother has been following us around wherever we go to deliver these programs. Project Stop and Think. You see her with a Stop and Think shirt on her. Just a couple of weeks ago, we buried my mom. She died on the Mother's Day weekend, and we buried my mom. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, this is the house that we were all raised in. You probably know it down the street. As the CEO, owner of the Toronto-based social skill agency Motivate for Change International, I make this proclamation today in the honor and legacy of my parents, Jeremiah, of our parents, Jeremiah and Felicity Chaitin, on this day, July 6, 2026, to make Grenville the international hub. We are moving the hub from Toronto to Grenville. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Anytime Project Stop and Think is engaged around the world, it moves from Grenville. Now that we have proclaimed the town of Grenville, the international hub of Project Stop and Think, we ask the businesses and professionals of Grenville and beyond to join us and our sponsors that made it happen so far. Our sponsors so far has been L.L. Ramdani. Mr. Ramdani, could you please stand, sir? And Mr. Ramdani did not just sponsor the program financially. He gave us this beautiful theater to host the program every Tuesday. Calico Trading. Do we have anybody from Calico Trading here? Calico Trading. Oh, you're here. Hi. Ms. Lansing, it's good to have you. It's good to have you. The Rotary Club of Grenada and Rotary Club of Grenada East. Are you here? Could you please stand? All Rotarians? All Rotarians. The Investment Migration Agency of Grenada has been a sponsor. Tess Bar in Grenville has been a sponsor. As we seek to reduce the incidence of crime and violence in Grenville and across the Tri-Island states, come on, folks. Put your hands together for our Project Stop and Think hub of Grenville. I thank you very much. Did you see the short one? She tried to hug me my shoulder. She got me my waist. Okay, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call P.S. Jeremiah to the stage, representing the Ministry of Mental Health and Wellness. I'll ask Constable Larry to come to the stage. I'll ask Miss Julia Lawrence, representing Rotary Club, to come to the stage. And I'll ask Auntie Patsy to come to the stage. They'll be standing here as witness of the respect pledge. Just stand right here. All right. I'm going to ask all our Stop and Think participants to please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pledge that all our Stop and Think participants had to sign before graduation. So we are going to read them in the hearing, and they are going to respond in the presence of these people. Are you ready, graduates? Are you ready? Okay. My personal respect pledge. As a member of the human race, I understand that we come in and with different shades, races, languages, religions, and genders. These differences I appreciate as contributing factors to the amazing diversity among us. I therefore pledge to respect myself firstly, not allowing anyone to abuse me, put me down, or take advantage of me for their personal or corporate gain. I further pledge to respect my fellow humans despite the differences, not esteeming myself to be better than them, but tolerating, working, and cooperating with them as much as possible without violating my conscience. I pledge to respect the opinions of others despite how different they are to mine, and also pledge high respect and regards for human life and well-being, along with property and possession of others. Finally, I pledge to always stop and think before making impulsive and emotional decisions that can hurt someone while at the same time jeopardizing my freedom, safety, success, and life. These pledges I promise to keep to the best of my ability, thus enjoying a safer and happier life while fostering a crime-free community. And how does the graduating class respond? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so we move into the certificates, and we want you guys to congratulate you. So stand by. Certificates now. All right. Yeah. Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask Mrs. Thomas, Mrs. Bernard, and Mr. George to please join us on stage. Before we hand out the certificates, let me tell you what your, you could take it off. Let me tell you what your graduation package looks like. First of all, it comes with a beautiful certificate, Canadian Social Skills Certificate in partnership with the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs. Also come with your signed pledge that you just took. It comes with a document that says 30 things we do not want you to ever forget about Stop and Think. And this is all your notes from the presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, when Dr. Chaichan or anyone of us may not be around and you are faced with situations, consult your notes. You would find it there. It also comes with a copy of our official Stop and Think poster that every one of you will get. And finally, our little book, Respect Due, which the keys to solving crime and violence, just 40 pages. It's a session between covers, which will help you to keep respect as high as possible. Each one of you will be getting a full package today. So at this time, I'm going to hand the mic over to Auntie Patsy.
You guys ready? Okay. The first name is Cora Walter. Serena Lessie. Dejana Peters. Isaiah Phillips. Philip. Haley Edwards. Estelyn Modeste. Bridget Bridgman Burke.
Bridget.
Heidi Candy Ann Jones. Kiana Sampson. Carrie Ann Gittins. Irma Walter. Yolanda Phillips Buckmeyer. Keziah Hille. Malika Williams. Michaela Williams. Deshaun Clark. Deshaun Clark.
Oh, it's you, boy.
Raphael Jr. Kadu. Rashid Kado. Stanley Joseph Augustine. Mr. Aaron Pear. Rondell Alexander. Rashid Lessie. Adrian Joseph. Corey Smart.
He's a smart man.
LeBron Williams. Teron George. Alvin O'Neill. Alvin O'Neill. Keyshawn Rogers. Keon George. Enrique Cape. Theo Frank. Cameron George. Lee Simon. Mr. Lee. Ruben Wells. Ruben, hey. Raheem Wells. Shonday Charles. Cornell Douglas. Dorian Charles. Dorian Charles. Kejon Paul. K. Paul. Nathaniel Cotain. Nathaniel Joshua Richardson. Oh, Kelron Dibalot. Ricardo Daniel. Ricardo Daniel. Miguel Beggs. Miguel Beggs. No Miguel. Delrick and Alexander. Delrick Alexander. Kimo Robin. Kimo. Kimon Sanderson. Kimon Sanderson. Kimon. Going once, going twice. Delissa Lessie. Domani Lessie. Davy Stanislaus. Nicole McLellan. Nicole McLellan. Akeem Lalji. Akeem is here. Jamari. Jamari Jones. Jamari Jones. Tyreek Alexander. Tyreek. Shaquan Ranger. Shaquan Ranger. Joanne Ross. Anderson Langai. Langain. Aiden Griffith. Aiden Griffith. Jordan Payne. Jordan Payne. Jamil Ross. Jamil Ross. Jaquin Ross. Jaquin Ross. Javon Haynes. Joshua Stafford. Deshaun Lawrence. Matthew Stafford. Danelle Richards. Danelle. Leon Williams. Sean Emmanuel. Simon Philbert. Simon Philbert. Joshua Stafford. Zayden Charles. Zayden.
Okay, has everyone received their certificates, the package? Or just hold a little tight with us, graduates. We are bringing the curtains down. This was your time. Oh, we have one man. Okay, we want to thank the congratulation line. Thank you very much. God bless you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my final charge to you. I need all the graduates to listen up now. There is no doubt that these 12 weeks have been very rewarding, I loved it, I enjoyed it, imparting the knowledge to you. And today, you are going to leave here as graduates, the latest graduates of the Project Stop and Think program. It's an international program. Almost anywhere you go across the Caribbean, you'll find people there who have taken that pledge you take. My dear friends, especially my young men, today I want to charge you to live by your respect pledge. Respect yourself first. Remember, if you don't have it, you can't give it. People are going to challenge you. It's not when you're inside here looking nice and with your shirts on and your certificate in your hand. It's not inside here. It's when you go through the doors outside there. You are going to meet all kinds of challenges. People are going to come in your face. People are going to want to fight you. Young ladies, men will come to charm you. I ask you at that point in time to always stop and think before you proceed. So I charge you this evening to go there, graduates of 2026. Go there and be an example. Go there and be a mentor. Go out there and change Grenada. At this time, I ask P.S. Jeremiah to come here. She's going to offer a prayer for you before we leave. I ask all the graduates to please stand.
Okay, let's pray, humble ourselves before God. Almighty God, you such a good and a great God, you are mighty to praise. This afternoon, tonight, Lord, we come with thankful hearts for what you have done for all these wonderful young men and women of our trial and state. Father, you have mentored them, you have blessed them with wisdom, you have given them a project whereby they can implement, share, and whereby they can empower themselves to be wonderful citizens of this nation. We pray, oh God, that when troubles, trials, and temptation come their way, that to remember to stop and think before they act. Father, we pray for the men, especially of our nation. We see that sometimes they can be in crisis. But tonight we ask, oh God, that they will make you the center of their lives. Help them to know that we all love each and every one of them. Most of all, help them to realize that you, oh God, you have loved them with an everlasting love. And help them to know that we need the young men of Grenada. We need all of them. We need them to be productive, to be very well trained and mannered and respectful, whereby they can be contributors of our nation's development. So bless this graduating class of 2026. Bless Dr. Chaitan and his Stop and Think project team members. Thank you for all the sponsors today. We thank you, oh God, that we'll continue to collaborate with this wonderful project. We thank you for the persons who have provided the building, the Ramdanis, and we thank you for using them into your service. So bless all that was done here today. Remember to bless the parents and the guardians of those who have just graduated today. Bless them. Give them patience. Father, we know at times that our nation parents can become very discouraged and disheartened. But help us, Lord, never give up on our young people. Never give up on them. Always provide means to empower them. So we thank you for them. We thank you for the time that was spent here together. We thank you most of all for Patsy, Lord, too, who've been with us during all this time. So thank you for all our stakeholders, the magistrate, the judges, the lawyers, the probation officers, the various ministries that at times are faced with a lot of challenges. Lord, we put everything into your hands and let our nation be crime-free, suicide-free, and our young people can strive and grow. And we pray, oh God, that we will hold their hands and let them know that we are with them no matter what the situation is. So thank you again. Bless us as we leave here also, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to put your hands together for Pastor Jamie Gordon, our host for the evening. We just want you to know that we have refreshments available for you. So as you leave here, please, if we want to leave this place as clean as we found it, again, we want to thank LL Ramdani for donating the use of this place. Ladies and gentlemen, as clean as we met it, let's leave it. At this time, I ask you to stand as we listen, as Mikey Live play a recessional song. Okay, the PS is asking if we come on stage. We want to take a group photo of everybody. So let's come and please everyone. Some could stay up down here.